My name is Michael Caine. You're listening to Spike Pit. Not a lot of people know that.
Colin at Spike Pit. This is Jason Hobbs from Random Screed. You, sir, are killing it. I really believe that using call-ins from people and talking about those call-ins is a wonderful tool and perfect for Anchor. Unfortunately, a large portion of my listeners are not on the Anchor app, so they really can't interact in that way. I really wish they would, because that would be cool. Though I have to agree with Matt from Matt Random that the Anchor app kind of sucks. The GUI is not as good as it could be. Regardless, man, keep it up, brother. Always happy to hear from you, and as I said before, I really hope we get to hear from you more and you call in to other shows still. Thank you.
Mayday, 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 mayday. HMS Spike Pit in trouble. Cannot work my anchor and I fear I'm going to be washed out to sea by the savage tides. Sorry folks, couldn't resist a little bit of lame drama there. I'm looking for some input from fellow anchorites. Your suggestions, tips and tricks on how to work Anchor. Perhaps in a manner that I could understand. More ship puns, but I guess we're all in this boat together. And I know there's a vast wealth of talent out there.
Hey, Colin. Welcome to Anchor. This is Chuck with the Playing It Wrong podcast. Hey, on your last episode, the SOS to all us guys trying to figure out how to use the Anchor app. I'm still trying to figure out how to use the Anchor app. I've had a little more luck with using the online interface and recording my episodes with Audacity and being able to do a little editing. But hey, I'm no tech guy, so I still kind of figured it out. You know, I know just enough to be dangerous, but only to myself. Anyway, looking forward to hearing from you and loving the show so far.
The guys are right. The UI on the Android version of this, it's a little difficult to figure it out. I've added the wrong things to wrong episodes. I recorded a whole episode thinking that I was recording a new episode, but I was actually adding to an old one. So it's a little finicky. You gotta just keep playing around with it, but your show's awesome. Just keep it up, man. Don't worry too much about it. Just have some fun.
Hey, it's Matt from Matt Random again. Came back with maybe some tips. So I have downloaded this app at least 3 times and deleted it and then downloaded it again. And it's because the UI is terrible. That's the user interface for non-tech people. And not only that, but the app does have issues. I would highly recommend, if you don't like doing it on your phone, going to the website and recording your episodes that way. You get a lot more control over sequencing events and doing transitions. You can move things around. You can listen to it and see if you like the way it sounds before you publish it. I find that if I want to do a more professional and less spontaneous, off the cuff sounding show, the website is the way to go.
I think the consensus is perhaps not to use the phone for Anchor unless you're just going for that off the cuff spontaneous recording. I'll give that a whirl. Anyway, what I wanted to consider today was the subject of nostalgia and gaming. I was out at a family party yesterday and run into a guy I'd never met before. I've seen him around, I kind of know him, but I didn't realise that he was such a big gamer back in the day. So we're talking back in the UK, early 80s, Warhammer Fantasy Roleplay, Games Workshop's coming out with this fantasy battle. He's had a collection of all the FASA Battletech stuff. And we was just chatting about the old games day in Hammersmith in London and one thing and another. And it's always a great treat to kind of discover that somebody you've maybe known is a gamer. And I wondered, for me, this is a rare occurrence. And I always enjoy it, especially if there's a few beers involved and some sunshine and burgers and barbecue, etc. It's just really, really good reminiscing on the old times. It's a sort of powerful, some powerful emotions get stirred. It's a bit like when you find an old gaming book and you're taken straight back to the day when you're sitting around with your mates just playing these old games, or just, you can't really beat it. It is for me sort of tinged with a little bit of sadness at the same time.
Hi there, this is Darren Green, also to be known as Colin's brother, I guess. Just giving a quick message about nostalgia. It is a powerful emotion, can be a bit overpowering sometimes. You can end up spending time and money on things that you remember being great when you were young or a long while ago, and when you face up to it, they're not quite as good as you remember. So I would definitely encourage people to do their research and look into things before spending their well-earned money or hard-earned money. A good example recently, Stranger Things, that has done some good things for D&D. It's got some people back into it from the 80s and 90s, so it can be a good thing.
Just want to say I'm glad you're on board. I finally figured it out, man. I've been struggling to figure out why I like your accent particularly so much. And I figured it out. Your voice, and I hope you take this as a compliment, reminds me of Dick Van Dyke's character in Mary Poppins, the chimney sweep. You know, now that I could listen to you for a longer period of time, as you're speaking during your show, longer than just like the minute, it came to me immediately. I was like, oh my God, it's the chimney sweep. I can't even think of his darn name now. But anyway, man, I look forward to hearing more of your show. Definitely will be listening, and thanks for joining us.
Hey, Colin. I know you mentioned about trying not to dial up the UK accent, but I think you should totally go for it as much as possible. Use the terms that we don't know, because it'll just make it much more fun. And I promise to use and a boot as much as I can, just to confuse those guys in America a little bit once in a while, right?
Wow, I don't know if you guys heard that, but I think Matt may have just called me a dick. I don't know, did he? Nah, joking aside, yeah, there's thousands of people around where I live, interestingly, seem to be going for that Dick Van Dyke kind of style of talking. I know myself, I've been working on it for the last sort of 44 years. It sounds as though I may have finally mastered it and come to terms with that special Mary Poppins vibe. Good to know. And it's always good to hear what other people have enjoyed. And this is sort of part of my reason for thinking about this nostalgia thing. I'm actually planning to have a little root around on Google and see if I can find some sort of scientific information that explains a little bit more. And I know it's a way that perhaps especially perhaps with the OSR, games are sold and marketed, and nostalgia is definitely a powerful force that comes into play, driving sales.
Hi, Colin. Old Man Grognard here. Hope you're doing well. Still, great show. Glad you're doing what you're doing. Yeah, I should talk a little bit about nostalgia on my show, because I've been gaming since 81. Off and on, but mostly on. And I've got a lot of good memories. And I want to see if I can maybe push myself to be a little more creative. And we'll see how that goes with my group. Now, about your accent. Dick Van Dyke? No. I listen to you. I hear Michael Caine. I listen to you, and you talk like this, and a lot of people don't know that, and you sound kind of like Michael Caine, which is a good thing because he's a hell of an actor, and I like him. So keep up the good work and keep that accent going. Talk to you later. Bye-bye.
Yeah, thanks to Glenn there for calling in, and my old mate Michael there, of course. Hey, Michael, shut the door on the way out, mate. What, was you born in a field? So nostalgia. that hit a chord with a few listeners. I got another message from Tim with his take on nostalgia.
Hey, Colin, Tim Shorts from Gothridge Manor. I do believe Matt did call you a dick, or at least you sounded like one. Oh, yeah, he's so rude. Join the show, nostalgia. It's kind of interesting because I don't run into it as much as when I first started, because it's almost like I'm renewing the old memories now, because I'm basically in my, third cycle of gaming, I would say. And so I'm almost making new nostalgia now. Because I'm thinking, like in 10 years, I might look back at in my 40s and now I'm in 50, looking back these days and thinking, wow, that was pretty cool. So, hey, I'm making nostalgia today, my man. We'll talk to you soon.
Cheers, Tim. Yeah, I like your perspective on nostalgia there. Very positive. Make your nostalgia today. It'll serve you well in the future. But seemingly, nostalgia, there's been sort of a certain amount of research into it that would suggest that generally it can be good for you. And it's almost like a natural response when we're feeling a bit down or cold, apparently cold. And there was one other thing. You tend towards, or a person tends towards nostalgic thoughts, and it would appear that it gives us a bit of an uplifting feeling. There's a certain melancholy to it, but they say it kind of asserts your relevance, as it were. So if you're feeling a little bit out to sea and don't know if you're doing the right thing and you're getting this self-doubt, apparently like the feelings of nostalgia are a way that you cast back to maybe happier times, and you can see that, I had a lot of fun back in the day, and you think back to good times, and it reminds you that it can be done, and you've got that potential for them times to exist once again.
Enjoying your podcast, am I? I hope you did,
30 years of D6 Star Wars, it would seem. That has passed by so fast it is untrue. I have got all my pennies together, raided the piggy bank, and I've placed an order for Fantasy Flight's 30th anniversary of the Star Wars role-playing game system. So that's the 2 books in a slipcase, and they promise even greater quality than the original. The nostalgia has driven me into this purchase. Nonetheless, I will be looking forward to receiving it in the next few days. It'll be good fun to read through it and try and get it to the table. It will have to join a long queue of systems that I've got queued up, in particular Sharp Swords and Sinister Spells, which is top of my list at the moment. Currently, I am not on DM duty. We've got a couple of new guys, my man Ricky and my brother Darren. They are running the games that we are playing. So I've got a little bit of time to, that little bit of time where you can take a break from getting a weekly game together, and you can just sort of do some research and explore avenues to bring some new life to your campaign.
I fell into a spike pit. Oh yeah, a spike pit. Oh, a pit would have spikes in it.